Hello and welcome. This is a pitch for the game Golf of Zombies, a game about hitting balls and taking names by Cloaked Snagger Studios. Cloaked Snagger Studios is a new indie studio focusing on VR development. We are focused on developing party games with a unique twist on classic games. At the moment we are a small studio of 5 with 1 designer, 2 artists and 2 programmers. Here is our elevator pitch. Golf with Zombies is a golf simulation game created primarily for VR. On your trip across the green, you will slay some zombies, travel around the world, and make some friends along the way. The game offers a post-apocalyptic twist and interactive take on the sport that encourages players to get from A to B in whatever way they can. We are currently in the ideation phase with a goal to release a playable demo by the end of the year. We will be developing in Unity 6 for VR, console, and PC, and upon release we will have both single-player and multiplayer modes. We are aiming to have a campaign which should roughly take around 10 hours to complete, or 20 hours if playing with friends. What is Golf with Zombies about? There are 4 main pillars of Golf with Zombies: multiplayer, hack and slash gameplay, player expression, and going global. Multiplayer. Grab a group of friends and take turns taking your shot along the course. Do you try and get that elusive hole-in-one, or try and mess up your friend's shot by hitting their ball into the fringe? Hack and slash gameplay. When you've decided on a level to play, enter the mall and let some zombies have it. Race around the abandoned mall and kill some zombies to give yourself more shots or even a score multiplier. Player expression. Pick items that showcase your personality. From golf club to wristbands, you can choose from a wide range of unlockable or purchasable customization. Go global. From Mount Rushmore to Big Ben, Golf with Zombies takes you on a trip around the world, with each course increasing in difficulty as it progresses to add challenge with each hole. Players get 3 minutes to race around an abandoned shopping mall and slay as many zombies with their golf club as possible. For each zombie killed, the player gets a ball they can play with. When a player hits a ball out of bounds, they lose a ball. Any balls left over multiply the player's score. There are 3 different types of zombies for players to encounter. The Grunt, a regular zombie that's relatively easy to kill, gives the player a regular zombie ball that has no special attributes. The Dancer, a groovy zombie that dances around blowing music wherever they go, gives the player a magnetic zombie ball which is attracted to the hole. The Brute, a rare zombie that's massive. Players will really need to fight this one to take it down. If a player takes it down, they are given a Giga Ball, which flattens anything in its way. How to start. In Golf with Zombies, you can take a trip around the world. From a classic American diner to Mount Rushmore, you can take your friends anywhere in this post-apocalyptic land. We are developing Region 1, the All-American Road Trip, as a launch map, with plans to release map packs for the different regions later on. DLC 1 takes the player through a lush jungle inspired by South America. DLC 2 will be the largest expansion showcasing many iconic locations from Africa and will implement wildlife as obstacles for players to contend with whilst trying to putt. DLC 3 will take players down the streets of Europe's abandoned cities. DLC 3.5 is an expansion on the Europe DLC, with England being added to the map selection and will celebrate the 2nd anniversary of the game's launch. DLCs 4 to 6 are examples of how we could progress after the initial content plan. What is the player's goal? Your main goal is to get to the hole under par or push yourself and go for a hole-in-one. Each hole will become more challenging than the last. Some will use moving prompts such as the classic windmill, whilst others will use twists and turns to obscure the end goal. Play your way. In Golf with Zombies, we want players to be able to express themselves. Through a wide range of in-game customization, players will be able to make their character truly feel like them. To progress through the game, you can unlock different golf clubs to express yourself, or buy one from the store. Choose from a wider range of 80s inspired sweatbands and hairstyles to make yourself stand out from your friends. Players can explore around the map and find caches with player customization items in. Alternatively, paid quest packs will be sold that feature a short narrative and reward a cosmetic set. Who is the player? In Golf with Zombies, the player takes control of a character who's left with nothing. Well, it's a zombie apocalypse. And honestly, humanity isn't coming back from this. Take control of a character whose last act on Earth will be to go for global golf adventure. With nothing left to lose, you might as well go and set some new PBs before you go out. Since the world is ending, you might as well break out the sweatbands and that classic 80s mullet. Golf with Zombies is Golf with Friends meets Resident Evil meets Phasmophobia. Golf with Zombies combines the quick, hectic gameplay of Golf with Friends and the zombie hordes of Resident Evil. It also builds on the quest and replayability of Phasmophobia by giving players weekly contracts to complete that have some special modifiers for the players to experience. Virtual reality is one of the fastest growing sectors of the games industry, with large companies like Apple and Meta investing into the sector. Also, when compared to the current console pricing, it is cheaper to get into due to the hardware and software costs being far lower. It is proven that VR titles can be successful with games like Phasmophobia, Resident Evil having VR releases, and large player bases. We are aiming Golf with Zombies at players aged between 12 and 30, as you can clearly see they have the most time to spend playing games. Golf with Zombies is designed to attract people who enjoy playing games like Resident Evil and Phasmophobia, while adding more party game features and the sport elements from Golf with Friends. The ideal customer is someone with an interest in zombies, which means the demographic is slightly older than most party games. We believe a PEGI 12 rating would perfectly fit our game, as it allows us to keep some elements of gore. All the titles that inspired this project have been large hits, all making in the tens of millions, but even smaller titles like Arizona Sunshine 2 make an estimated 1.8 million. This is according to the Steam revenue calculator, meaning that the market is definitely there. Platforms and pricing. As we are a VR-focused studio, we want the game to be available on the core platforms first. This means the initial release is going to be on Meta Store and the Steam VR platform. Since the other courses will be sold as DLC, we've chosen to reduce the price slightly. After release, we will work on a traditional import version of the game, which will allow it to be easily ported to consoles, specifically the Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. We decided that a price point of around £10.99 would be perfect for the game, as it would allow us to sell future courses in the range of around £2 to £5. We are also interested in a launch day sale, which will allow us to reduce the price by approximately 10% to £9. This should help day one sales. This is our rough production timeline. The total production time is around 21 months, with 6 months being given to producing the majority of the game, whilst keeping the concept and pre-production phases shorter and more focused. During the first year of development, we will try to release monthly developer logs. This will allow us to build a small fan base before the game is even launched. It also gives us an open line of communication with the community. After launch, we have a content roadmap featuring 2 major DLCs, which will be paid for, with some smaller content drops which will be free, as well as console and PC ports coming soon after launch. The yearly budget for the game development is £385,000, for a workforce of 8 taking up 71% of the budget for salaries. This brings the game's total cost to around £770,000 for the 24-month window, which is when we plan to have the VR and traditional input versions of the game produced by. In the 3-month window where our programmers are working on the porting, we plan to have the DLC 1 being produced, with assets and level maps being created. Increasing the budget to $1 million would allow us to take on an additional artist. This would allow us to produce assets much quicker and allow for DLC 1 to be released alongside the traditional input release. It would also give us more money to spend on marketing and attend game shows, where we could showcase the game far more often. To recap, Golf with Zombies is a sport hack-and-slash party game with a focus on group play and real-world motion. We are currently in the concept phase and unannounced. The development will take roughly 24 months, and we are planning to launch by November 2026. Thank you for listening to our pitch. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us via cloakedstaggerstudios@gmail.com.